Sony has just announced that they'll no longer be producing discs for new games starting in January 2028. So funny enough, I actually already started putting this video together when it was announced that GTA 6 would be digital only. I saw GTA 6 as kind of the catalyst for things to come, whether they handled it digitally, if it was going to be physical, the pricing, all that. And then I woke up this morning and Sony completely ripped off the band-aid with this. The shift to digital only isn't really anything new. For over a decade now, gaming companies have really been pushing their digital storefronts. Then we saw Sony test the waters a bit when they released the digital edition of the PS5 back in 2020. It was also said that 85% of Sony's game revenue in Q4 of fiscal year 2025 was from digital sales. And I really don't blame people that prefer getting games digitally. At first it seemed like a great idea. You don't have to leave the house or have to worry about the game selling out. And believe me, I'm guilty of this myself. I pre-ordered Resident Evil Requiem on Amazon only for my pre-order to get delayed for over a month. It was still sold out at all my local stores even 2 weeks after it came out, so I bit the bullet and just bought it on the PlayStation Store. If going digital was so convenient, why do so many people hate it? The biggest reason for that is because people actually like owning their games. So this isn't about games, but just recently Sony announced that they'll be taking away movies and TV shows that people bought digitally on PlayStation starting September 1st. They're claiming it's due to licensing issues, but this shows that they can and will take away media that you've purchased already. These days we live in a world where you really don't own anything you pay for. So many things are tied to subscriptions. Just in gaming, you have PlayStation Plus, Game Pass, Nintendo Online, where people are sometimes paying over $20 a month. Back in 2024, an Ubisoft executive spoke about how subscriptions are becoming the norm. So gamers are gonna need to start feeling more comfortable about not owning their games. Of course this got major backlash, but companies are still going down the direction of subscriptions and now digital only games. When Nintendo released the Switch 2, they started selling some of their games for $80. And of course, GTA 6 followed this trend and was announced to be $80 at launch. So going forward now, I'm pretty sure a lot of games are going to start following GTA 6 and trying to be $80. And now with Sony going digital only, you can only assume that Nintendo and Microsoft will eventually do this too. This is going to cause huge issues for everyone, not just people that prefer physical or digital games. It might lead to some games going on sale less often, and some games still selling at full price even years later. We've already seen this with Nintendo for years. Since all their first-party games are exclusive, very rarely do they ever go on sale. And if they do, they don't drop in price that much. I'm looking at the eShop right now, and games like Mario Odyssey are still full price despite being almost a decade old. Even re-releases of old games like Paper Mario on the GameCube are still full price despite being from over 20 years ago. However, sometimes you can find used copies of these games for 50% off or even more. That's why it's important for physical games to be a thing. It's gonna get to the point where everything is digital and everything is extremely expensive since there isn't another way to buy games anymore. Even if you do have a physical disc, sometimes there are only key cards that allow you to download the game. However, there's still a lot of games that surprisingly have the entire game on disc. Recently I found a website called doesitplay.org and it basically can tell you if the game is fully on the disc. It can also tell you things like if you need an internet connection, a day one patch, things like that. If you still collect physical games for modern consoles, it's something you should really be using. Alright, so I thought I would do a little comparison of physical copies and how much they've changed over the years. So right now I have Final Fantasy VII for the original PlayStation, one of my favorite games ever. And I also have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for the PlayStation 5. Like I said earlier, I'm no stranger to buying games digitally, but there's certain games that I know I really want to have in my collection physically. So games like Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts, games that are like my favorite series, I really want to have them physically. It's not really a secret that physical games have kind of lost their magic over the years. If you open up the PlayStation 5 case, there's the controller stickers from Amazon, and then there's some advertisements. It's rare to even see those in a case these days. So if I look at my Crisis Core case, there's literally nothing in it except for the disc. Meanwhile, if we look at the original Final Fantasy VII on the PS1, we've got disc 1, there's artwork of Aerith and the Highwind as the backdrop, We have the manual, and even a little PlayStation Underground form that you could fill out and mail to Sony if you wanted to. PlayStation Underground was this kind of disc-based magazine back in the day, and they would even send you things like demo disc. If we look at the manual though, it's almost 70 pages long. You have more artwork showing off Midgar. Then you have character bios. It teaches you the controls and how to play the game. There's even a mini strategy guide later on too. So growing up, these manuals were awesome. It really wasn't until the end of the 360 and PlayStation 3 life cycle that they really started to skimp out on these. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I didn't really want to go too in depth like I usually do with my other videos. I just wanted to share my thoughts because I really did not expect Sony to announce this today. I kind of knew that physical gaming was coming to an end, like at some point come right after that GTA 6 announcement. I can't really say it came out of nowhere because we've really been heading in this direction for a while. Let me know what you think about Sony going fully digital. Maybe you care, maybe you don't. If you want to check out some more in-depth videos on my channel, you can check these out as well. And if you want to support the channel even more, make sure to like and subscribe. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next video.